Why, hello. Welcome to another video with The Rosey Life, where we help you free your mind and follow your heart so you live a life that you love. If you're interested in any of the courses or the membership channel, all the information is down below. Today I want to talk to you about something that comes up quite a bit in the comments or emails or questions or in sessions, and that is Neville Goddard's revision. And he also talked about using his technique, I remember when. And I want to talk about both of those things because years ago, when I first learned about Neville Goddard's revision and I remember when, I was taught it in a different way that kept me frustrated and kept me feeling like I was trying to change the event that took place. For example, an argument or disagreement, and left me feeling like no. And even from different teachers, I remember studying with this other non-duality teacher and like revising on the spot, like as you're talking, but from the perspective, right, in my assumption, my belief, whatever, but the way that it was taught when I was unfamiliar with a law, right, was that I was changing what I was hearing live, and I was changing what the memory that I had, and I with different techniques. I remember listening to one coach talking about using inner conversations to revise a conversation that took place, and also, but to change it, right, to change what had happened. So that feeling of changing is what kept me in a lot of frustration and feeling like it was impossible, like I was lying to myself, like it was delusional. Like, how can you change something that I believe that actually had happened? And this is where a lot of people, I think, are stuck in with this idea of revision. And it is a very powerful technique. And however, it can be a very frustrating technique to play around with when you really don't recognize and understand what it is that you're doing. So instead of trying to change an argument, trying to change something, right, leaves you constantly feeling. And for me personally, I can tell you that kind of teaching took me down the rabbit hole of self-concept work for a very long time, feeling like I had to change my self-concept, that was the reason why I wasn't believing the revision that I did, because I didn't have a good self-concept and I couldn't see myself as having that kind of outcome. So then I went down the rabbit hole of trying to love myself, of trying to fix my self-concept, all of that stuff that I know many of you are very familiar with as well. And it wasn't that any of those coaches or teachers or books are wrong, okay, but they were teaching, and maybe still are, I don't know, this is years ago, right? But they were teaching from their point of view, from their level of awareness, and what they believed was going to be effective. And so anyway, that's why I've made many videos on revision over the last couple years, and some very powerful videos on revision too, that many people have written me and told me that they use it very easily, that it just like it was amazing for them. But I wanted to revisit revision again because of the amount of questions and comments that I'm getting about it, and in my intention is to give you clarity on what it really means. And we're going to go into Neville Goddard's his lecture on the pruning shears of revision. Okay, so Stick with me because you're going to want to watch this video so you never look at revision the same way again. Instead, I want to introduce you to a different way to look at revision. You guys know I'm goofy. It's called Yo Vision. It's not revision. It's just Yo Vision. Yes, Yo Vision. Okay, so hopefully you guys can see this okay. So, of course, I went into Webster Dictionary, and I always do Oxford, Webster, or whatever, a bunch of them, right? And looked up the definition of revision. And it says, these are some of the other words that it uses to describe the word revision: altering, changing, editing, and improve. So, of course, when most of you hear that word revision, those are the kind of words you're going to associate with revision. You're thinking that you have to change one thing that you think happened. In other words, you think that you just have this one experience, right? This one past, present, and future, and that something happened in that past, and it's too late, it's over. Sayonara, it's gone. You can't do anything about it. You did it. You laid your bed. You made your bed. Now you got to lay in it. And then you hear about revision and you think it's some magic pill that you get to change what you think you did in the past. So this is where a lot of people get confused. It's one, you think that there's some past that you can change. And two, you think that there's only one trajectory of a past, present, and future, and that's all you got to work with. That you only have that one memory or that one way of thinking, like, oh yeah, time is running out, the clock is ticking, things just going by. And I get that because that's what it appears to be, that's what it feels like, right? But remember, everything is now. This is the key to your vision. It is, everything is now. So when you put that together with there's only now and your vision, there's nothing that you're changing. There's nothing that you're improving, because all those words imply the concept of a past, present, and future. That's why I'm like, I'm going to stay away from the word revision, because it gets misinterpreted as something from the past that you're trying to manipulate or change. Or even like, I remember hearing, this was years ago, someone telling me to change the inner conversation I have about it, but they were telling me as if I'm changing what happened and have a different dialogue within me to change that dialogue, right? But it wasn't being shown or taught from choice. So your vision is the Rosey Life's new word. That's what we're going to call it now, your vision. Okay, so remember, revision is altering, changing, editing, improving. We're not doing that. We're not revising. We're not editing, changing anything. Whatever that memory is, leave it alone. Just leave it alone. Okay, because improve, I love that the definition said improve. So it goes along with these other exhausting words that I'm sure you're all familiar with, and different ideas and things that we get into, right? Self-improvement. Hello. How many of you have been on that self-improvement bus? Okay. Or forgive, because we equate forgiveness to something that you did in the past. Something that you did in the past, shame on you. You made your bed, now you gotta lie with it. And you screwed it up. Too late. You can go out, you can go say you're sorry all you want, but it still doesn't change that specific reality. Do you see? It doesn't change it. You're just improving it. You're just trying to feel better about something. Or change your ways, right? You're going to change your ways. And this is very common. Like, I spent years both teaching at a master level for clinical counselors for drugs and addictions, all kinds of addictions. I taught that class, and I spent years working with people in various addictions. All right. And one of the things that they all, and something that I used to teach, not anymore, but and there's nothing wrong with it, because I think there's something for everyone, like I always say, right? But the thing is that even with that, with addictions, you feel like there's something to forgive, and you have to grow out of and improve from and get better. And now you changed your ways. You got to go around forgiving yourself, forgive and asking for forgiveness from people in your life, right? And you're improving yourself, but still and forever label themselves as an addict, even if they're healthy right now. It's like they're nailed to that addiction cross forever. Do you see? That's like improving and trying to get better. And again, there's nothing wrong with going through those steps and doing all of those things to help you feel good and like in this moment right now, right? But what I want you to see is that forgiveness is nothing to do with you did something bad, you did something wrong. And in Neville Goddard's The Pruning Shear of Revision, that's one of his lectures that you can find on YouTube if you want to hear it. I always recommend that you listen to Neville Goddard himself and not someone else reading it, or some robot or AI reading Neville Goddard, or some coach reading the book to you, right? If you want to hear Neville Goddard, go listen to him doing it, or read his book yourself so that you get the message directly to you, okay? So in his lecture, it says, and God placed man in the Garden of Eden, as I mentioned yesterday in yesterday's video, right? And if you haven't watched the video yesterday, I'm going to link it below, but that is one of my most powerful videos, in my opinion, that I have ever made. And it is the foundation to everything that you can possibly want in any technique that you can use, because without that understanding, right, you're going to feel like you're forcing and controlling. And many of you, not many of you, but some of you, right, I can see when you post questions and comments and book sessions with me, and you guys can quote a lot of stuff, but it goes in one ear, out the other, which is why I slow down in a lot of my content and I stick to a topic a little bit of a time, because I don't want to just continuously and hoping that you'll catch up in one of the videos, right? It might be the teacher in me, I don't know, but it's the way that I'm being led to teach it by source. And that's what I'm doing here. So it says, in God placed man in the Garden of Eden to dress it and keep it. In other words, to arrange it, to decorate your life. The Garden of Eden is your mind. So you are put into the Garden of Eden to decorate and design your life the way that you want to, okay? So he says, you think it happened 1,000 years ago. It is now. He says that you think that what your memory is of that thing that happened, that you think that happened 6 months ago, 5 days ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. You think that happened in some other moment. You think that happened in time. But he says, it is now. It's all now. So you are in it. You are in the garden is your mind. And then he goes on to say, you're rewriting. When you're using the pruning shears or revision, you're rewriting and forgiving. So rewriting and forgiving, okay? Remember, he's making it very clear that you think that thing happened. Whatever thing that you want to revise, whether it was 5 seconds ago, whether it's the last time you looked at your bank account statement, whether it's the last time you got the mail and you saw a bill, whether it's the last time you went to the doctor, whether it's the last time you had a conversation with your loved one, you think that happened 5 minutes ago. You think that happened 10 years ago. You think it was somewhere in the past, but it's not. It's happening right now. Do you see that? It's all happening now. So Neville Goddard, he says, forgive and rewrite. In other words, choose. Choose something you actually prefer. Choose something you actually prefer. Forgiveness forgiveness equals forgive is not the same as it's not my choice. Forgiveness, I forgot what I wrote here, is you're saying that's not my choice. Forgiveness is you just looking at that outcome. When you looked at your bank account last, when you had that last conversation with someone, and that's not what you want, and you feel ick or you don't like it, and you're like, wait, I don't like this, right? And then you find yourself trying to feel better about it, trying to fix it, trying to feel positive vibes, like let me listen to that 528 megahertz so I can get more cash coming into my bank account, right? You're trying to do all this stuff so that you can feel good, while you damn well know what you just looked at on the computer, or what you heard, or what you read, right? You already know, and you're over here trying to pretend that it didn't happen. That's what a lot of people think revision is. It's not. That's why it's your vision now, okay? So he says forgiveness, Neville Goddard is saying forgiveness is the same thing as saying, that's not my choice. I don't choose that. That's not what I want. Actually, no. That's not my choice. I don't prefer that option. I know I see it, but I don't prefer that. That's not my choice. And I love going back to that. I'm so glad that it's so funny, the videos that I think about that I made like in the past, like a year ago, 2 years ago, this video that I'm going to tell you that I made 2 years ago or so, about my son wanting a PS5, and he got a PS4 for free within a few days, and he was shocked. And I went home and I was like, I said to myself, no, PS4 is cool, but I said PS5. And then 2 weeks later, his dad brought him a brand new PS5, and he didn't know what to do with himself. You're right. But it's the same thing. It's forgive. It's like, I saw it and I'm like, no, that's not what I chose. And I love that I made that video a couple years ago, because I keep referring to it, because it's such a simple, very simple example of what it means to forgive and actually to choose again, and not feel like you have to be grateful and, well, you're stuck with that now. That's what you got. Do you see? So forgiveness is just simply saying, that's not my choice. I know that's a possibility, but you think that because you have a memory of it, you perceive it to be in the past. But remember what Neville said here. You think that happened 1,000 years ago, or 5 minutes ago, or whatever. It's not. It is now. It's all happening right now, because there's only now. There is no past. And this is key. Remembering that everything is now, because there is no past for you to sit there year after year and beat yourself up over something that you think happened in the past. No, every time you think about it, every time you remember it, recall it, every time you try to heal from it, you just dig yourself deeper into it. And what he's saying is forgive and say, no, I don't have to choose that anymore. I don't have to choose that memory anymore. I get to choose anything I want, which is here a good segue to talk about I remember when. This is when Neville Goddard talked about I remember when. And he uses I remember when because of that little insistent mind that some past happened and that you have to heal from it, forgive yourself from it, or you got to figure out how you're going to come out of that. How is everything going to turn around considering that that thing happened? He uses I remember when. And this is a really good segue to what I'm about to describe here. So what you do is you choose a preferred vision. This is your vision, okay? You choose a preferred vision. That's the first thing you do. You realize, wait, you forgive, you say, no, that's not my choice. And then you choose a preferred vision, a preferred memory. You prefer it, whether that happened 2 seconds ago or 2 years ago or 50 years ago. Remember, there's no such thing. It's all now. I know a lot of you are thinking that it happened 10 years ago, 30 years ago, 5 minutes ago, whatever, but it's not. It's all happening now. And number 2, so you choose your preferred vision, and then 2, you decide that is your new outcome. Whether you think it happened 5 seconds ago or 10 years ago, no, you actually decide this is your new outcome, no matter what other options appear, no matter what other memories appear, no matter what other feelings appear that are associated with that other vision, no matter what the evidence appears before you right now, no matter what, you're like, no, that's not what I'm choosing. Do you see? So an assumption, as we also talked about yesterday, right, is something that you accept without evidence. So when you're choosing to remember, I remember when, something different, right? Remember, you're choosing a different outcome. You're like, no, I don't choose that one. Actually, I'm going to choose this one because I get to choose out of everything. I don't have to remember it that way. No one can make me remember it that way. It's my choice to remember however I want to. And you're remembering, it doesn't matter if you think it's in the past or the future. You get to choose how you remember anything. No one can make you. The memory that you have in your head about what you think happened, you're like, yeah, that's a choice, but I don't choose that. And no one can make me choose that. I get to choose whatever outcome that I want to because I said so. Remember, because you are infinite choices. You're not stuck with one timeline or one way of thinking. You are infinite. You are you're all that is. You are one with God. You are everything right here, right now. So your assumptions is something that you accept without evidence. So when you choose a different outcome from something that you think is in the past, right? You're accepting that. You're assuming that choice is the truth now without the evidence. Without the evidence. You assume and choose, you accept what you chose without the evidence because you are the evidence. How? Your vision is an assumption. When you do your vision, that's an assumption. An assumption is your vision. Your vision is an assumption. And it contains your vision, your choice, your assumption. It contains its own evidence. That is freaking mind-blowing. Your vision, your assumption, whatever one you choose, you don't need the evidence. You don't need to see any signs or anything because that vision, that assumption contains the proof, contains the evidence because it's you. You are it. You're the evidence. You're all of it. So let's look at an example. An event happens, whatever, if it happened 2 seconds ago or 20 years ago, okay? An event happens. Doesn't matter what it's about. Doesn't matter if it's about an SP. Don't come at me with all your 5 million examples that, oh, well, what about in this scenario? Or what about, this is for every scenario possible. Because a yacht that you want, because you want $1 billion, because you want to, whatever it is that you want. You want to grow taller, you want to be shorter, you want to get thinner, you want to get fatter, whatever it is that you want. It doesn't matter. Last time you got on the scale, last time you went to the doctor, last time you were weighed or measured, the last time you looked at your bank account, the last time you saw your SP. I don't care. It's all the same. Okay? So, an event happens. Okay? What's going on here? Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But I could have kept drawing outcomes off the board, like, because you have infinite choices. Okay, we all get to choose from infinity and beyond. Look at that. Toy Story, he's right. So when an event happens, right, you choose what outcome do you prefer to see. That's what's going on. You're like, okay, this happened. Now, all of these choices, which outcome would I like to, what do I prefer to have experience with that event? Which outcome, out of all the infinite possibilities, which outcome would I prefer for it to have gone? Or in the future, which outcome do I prefer for this one to go? So remember, your vision isn't just about the seeming past. Your vision is about the past, your seeming past, present, or future. Like, for example, I walked into an office today, and I was going in there, and I don't know why I was feeling like a little nervous to ask a certain question. I was like, I felt like I was walking to the principal's office. It was so weird. And I was just like, and then I checked myself, and I was like, as I was walking in, I'm like, my girl, what are you doing? You're in charge. And I was like, oh yeah. And then I was like, no, this is gonna be slam dunk, easy, right? And then boom, I began talking to the person in the office. And of course, everything went super easy. But do you see, that's also your vision. I chose, there was a version of me that didn't want, that was thinking, oh, it could happen this way, or it could happen this way. But I'm like, no, I choose for it to happen this way. This is what's going to happen. So it's either way, it doesn't matter, okay? Because it's the reason why your past, present, and future, whether you revise, right, your vision from the past, the seeming past, or you do your vision from the future or the present, they're all one. So you think that you're changing some seeming past. No, you're choosing a different outcome. But remember, that outcome isn't back there. That outcome is happening right here, right now. So even if your mind wanders to a seeming past and you think that's going to affect your present and your future, that's just the 3D illusion of how we experience things, okay? So whether you think it's happening back there and you're choosing a different outcome, no, it's actually happening now. That's why it doesn't matter if you want to go back in time and have a different outcome, or you're looking at the future and you want a different outcome, or you're looking at the present, like me walking into the office and like having a different outcome. Doesn't matter which way you look, they're all happening now. All of it. Why? Because there's only one. There can't be a past, present, and future, because that would say that there's more than one. Those three are one. Past, present, and future are contained in the one. Everything's one. There's no separation. Stop dividing time. Stop dividing that something happened back then or now or when. It's all now. That's what no separation is. It's all now. You are it. Your whole is all coming from the one source, the one moment. There's not multiple moments from the past into future or moments to come or moments that passed. There's only the holy moment, like A Course in Miracles talks about the holy moment. And that's the moment of now. So when you choose, okay, that is, okay, so first you say, that one that I was thinking about, yeah, that's not my choice, okay? So now I'm going to choose a preferred vision, how I want to see it. I remember when. Yeah, I remember when that happened, and I choose that actually this is what happened. This was the outcome. It went into it's like plot twist. Actually, no. What happened is that this is the director. Remember that you are the director? The director says, cut. No, we're not doing that. Drop that scene. That's just not working. Instead, we're going to go with a different vision. We're going to have these characters do this and this and this. This is it. They tell the writers, plug that in. All the stage managers, everybody understands. This is the new scene. Eliminate that one. Scrap that. Everybody rip that page. We're not doing that one. Now, let's continue. This is what we're doing. This is what's happening. That's your vision. You are choosing your vision on what you choose to experience, regardless of the other visions coming up. You're just like, no, I already said I don't choose that one. Doesn't matter. That's an option. It's all my choice. I get to choose whatever I want to. Do you see that? So I hope that your vision was a little more clear today. I hope that your vision is what you want it to be. That you start seeing and remembering everything like Neville Goddard talked about. I remember when. Oh yeah, I remember when, right? Playing around with it that way instead of thinking you're controlling and trying to manipulate people and events and your own feelings. You're trying to feel better and trying to improve your self-concept to a person that actually can believe this thing that they're saying. It's like, we don't got time for that. No one wants to put any effort into that. It's like, that's like ancient, archaic ways of doing things. Like, if you've been with me on this channel, we've leveled up. We are like smoking over here. We're just like left all that in the dust. You can play around with all of it, right? But I wanted to bring you to your vision as another way, as an elevated way of looking at you thinking that you have to change a memory or change yourself in some way and implement that I remember when, right? His Neville Goddard technique, I remember when, that, right? And you can use it in so many ways. He said it's like, I remember when I didn't have that much money in my bank account, and now I do. Now I look at my account. I've used I remember when many times, right? I remember when. And now look at my numbers in my bank account. Hell yeah, right? I remember when I was struggling to lose weight, and now I'm in the best shape of my life. I remember when I was single, and now I'm the happiest wife or husband on earth. I remember when. Do you see? You're choosing. You're not trying to change anything. You're not trying to change anything. You're choosing something different that you prefer for your vision. All right, my loves. Hope you guys enjoyed my goofy video, and it was so insightful and so profound. I love you guys so much. Thank you for clicking the like button, and thank you for subscribing, and I will see y'all soon. Bye.